Every person that walks in that door has a problem. In any business, I don't care what business you're in, that is our job to fix the problem. In most cases, people don't understand the problem which they have. Think about going to the grocery store, buy a pot roast, potato, onion, and carrots. Now go to the cash register. While she's ringing it up, ask her, how do I make a pot roast? What do I set the oven on? What do I cut up? How do I cut it up? Where do I put it in the pan? But that's our job.
Yeah.
So yes, we have product.
Yeah.
But our job is to teach you how to go and do that.
Welcome to another episode of By the Stream Media's podcast, where we interview various business owners and entrepreneurs and ask them all the various questions about their business. Today, I have with me Monte Sims with Bes-Tex. Welcome, Monte.
Thank you.
Appreciate
the invite.
Yeah. No, we're really excited to have you coming on our show. We put out on Facebook, just asked some people, like, what are some of the oldest businesses in San Angelo? And we got a whole bunch of responses saying that we should talk to you over at Bes-Tex. And so that's kind of how we got here. How long has Bes-Tex been in business?
So Bes-Tex was actually founded in 1957 on 713 Oak Street, which is right across from the Fort Concho. They just recently tore down that building. My mother and father lived above the store, and so my great-grandfather, which would be my father's mother's dad, his name was Roy Sims, and when he got back from the military, he decided to start this chemical company. The way that they did it back then is he would buy a 55-gallon barrel of, for example, 2,4-D. He would take it and put it in smaller containers, print his own label with his name on it, and had traveling salespeople go around to feed stores and garden centers and sell the product.
Okay, nice.
So my understanding is I am the third or fourth owner because it was sold out of the company. Or out of the family.
Really? And
I bought it back in January of 2003.
Okay. Why did you decide to buy it back instead of starting your own thing? Or
So we'll kind of go with the history of me and how I came about. Bes-Tex, again, founded in 1957. At that time, my understanding is Roy would sell chemical to the farmers, ranchers, ag guys. And in order for him to do that, he would apply it for free.
Okay.
And so he took an Aronica Champ and put a application system on it, and he would go and spray, crop dusting. So my father is D. Sims of Three Rivers Flying Service. And when he was young enough to start flying, which he knew from a very early age that's what he wanted to do, he started flying. And basically put my grandfather out of business in the aerial application business.
Okay.
So Roy ran with Bes-Tex. My father started Three Rivers Flying Service. Obviously, I grew up in the aerial application business.
Yeah.
And knew that Bes-Tex was part of the family history. And my father's office is a picture of Roy Sims at our home out at Very Best, which is east of town. And at Bes-Tex, there is a picture of Roy Sims, the exact same one. There's only 2 copies of that.
Okay.
So that means a lot to me because it is a family-owned business or a family-started business here in San Angelo in 1957. He wasn't the sole person. It was a bunch of business guys that got together. So it wasn't that. So I grew up in the aerial application business, and I did not fly. I strictly took care of the chemical, the day-to-day operations, the cleaning, the straightening, the loading of the equipment, the manage of all of that. So that was my background. Graduated from Wall in 86. My father and I were, I guess, too close of age, and we're stubborn. We're hard-headed. And by being hard-headed and stubborn, on one hand, he's saying, please take a Holt. And on the other hand, he's going, that's my money. What are you doing?
Okay.
So I knew that I had to go out on my own.
Okay. So what'd you do?
So I loaded up all of my belongings in my 1980 Chevrolet pickup that had a 454 in it that got really terrible mileage. And I drove to Dallas with 2 30-gallon barrels from Dakota Coffee that had everything that I owned. My stereo and my clothes.
Oh, wow.
And no money.
Okay.
And
Why?
with the attitude of I'm going to prove to him
and
prove to them that I can do this on my own.
Okay.
Not knowing at the time that's what I was doing. I was just fine. I can do my own.
Yeah.
And sometimes being dumb is a blessing and it's a curse as well.
Yes.
Because looking back on it today with two young teenage kids or one that's 21, I'm thinking, what the heck was my father thinking to let me go and do that?
Right.
But I guess in a way he didn't have a choice. So went to Dallas, ended up working for a lawn care chemical company because of my background.
Mm-hmm.
And it's I'll make it a very quick story. When I walked in, they wasn't hiring me.
Okay.
And then within an hour of a conversation, they hired me.
Okay.
And not knowing what's going on in the world and how to do this, I worked for a gentleman named Don Link. Don Link is still a good friend of mine today. We talk on a weekly basis. And remember, this is back in the late 80s when I did this. And so he had me go out on the trucks with him to spray lawns and to teach me how to go and do that. Well, we got back at the office at 3 o'clock, and at that time, he would ask me to clean the truck. Well, guess what? The next truck came in, and then the next truck came in, and I ended up for another gentleman named Monte Williams, who was in the shop.
Okay.
Well, from the country, I'm working from daylight till dark. That's kind of what I do.
Yeah.
I didn't think anybody else didn't do that. I don't understand 8 to 5. I'm still a 5 to 8er.
Yeah.
Okay. So I worked in the shop in the afternoon, and I worked on the lawns in the evening until that first week when the paycheck came in.
Yeah.
I got called to the office.
Like too many hours. Man.
No. Well, and then what they was doing, they accused me of playing with the clock.
Oh.
And I'm like, no, I work for Don here, and I work for Monte here. And so he brought them both in and said, is this true?
Yeah.
He goes, oh, yeah, he's the best guy. He does this. He does
all of
that. He does everything. He can fix the pump, and he already knows the yards. He can talk to the customer. He's great. I don't want to get rid of him.
And that was the first week?
And that was my first week.
Wow.
In the Metroplex.
Wow.
So I ended up being there for 4 years. I was head of the division. I actually ended up with 2 trucks. I had a dry truck and a liquid truck.
Okay.
And I'm like, yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
But San Angelo's home.
Okay.
And I still believe that every young farm boy or person that is from San Angelo, that is tired of San Angelo, go to the Metroplex or go to Austin or go somewhere, get out and go see it, because you don't want to get at the older age and saying, woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yeah. Yeah. I've always heard that San Angelo always kind of brings everyone back in. And I've heard it in a negative term, but I feel like it's almost a positive because you get out, you experience something.
It is a positive turn. I mean, because, we can go to Abilene, and I'm not bashing any of these other Texas towns.
Yeah.
I mean, they're great. I wouldn't want to live in Amarillo.
Right.
It's probably too cold. But those people that born and raised in Amarillo don't think anything of it. So, but no, San Angelo is still a great home. It's great atmosphere. It's you don't go into a restaurant or go out on the town without running into 10 or 12 people that you already know.
Yeah.
So it's always a family.
Right.
And we're all, and I explain it also in my business as well. We're all scratching a living out of this.
Yeah.
We can go to the Metroplex and I pick on that. We can go to a bigger city, and we can make a lot more money than we can in Angelo.
Right.
But our lifestyles wouldn't be like this.
Right.
You would come home with a headache. You're stressed because of the traffic. Mm-hmm. I really can't believe in the last 2 years that our traffic is what it is. I mean, our traffic, it lasts 15 minutes. It's not a traffic hour.
Right.
It's 15 minutes, but it's like, where are all these people going?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
definitely.
I end up leaving earlier.
Yeah.
So that I eliminate that.
Okay.
I try to go eat at 11 instead of 12, so you eliminate that.
Yeah.
You just go through.
Right.
So,
you're just talking about Chick-fil-A is basically.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You're just trying to get the Chick-fil-A before everyone else.
That's
the
correct.
only traffic there is in town.
That's right. And they open like at 11, right?
Right. Yeah.
So you don't want to be the first one in line.
That's right. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Sure. Sure. But no, I moved back home after 4 years and started my own lawn care company. Simple way of going and trying to get back in. I tried to get back into farming. I farmed for myself for about 3 years, and the good Lord kept telling me every year not to do that, and I wouldn't listen.
Yeah.
Until the third year, I got it,
Yeah.
so hit me on the head 3 times. Like, yeah, this is not supposed to be for me.
Right. So you didn't jump back in with your dad and be like,
I didn't. I wanted to be kind of on my own.
Yeah.
It's me. Again, no college.
Yeah.
Strictly just a high school education. But plenty of time. I have a Class A CDL, so I drove truck.
Yeah. You knew the industry now.
I knew the industry. Well, he does put you in places, and he knows your path.
Yeah.
He does. And we don't know it at the time, but the fact that I know how to rebuild a small engine because of the flying service.
Yeah.
I know how to mix chemical because of the flying service. I know how to drive a truck. I know how to not say no. I know how to solve problems.
Yeah.
All of those things had led me to where I'm at today.
Okay.
And I try to educate my kids as well. You need multiple jobs.
Yeah.
When you're young.
Yeah.
I don't have that benefit today. I can't leave what I'm doing.
Right.
I'm married. I'm done.
Yeah.
And it's a lifelong thing.
Yeah.
But when you're young, you need to go and do that. You need to go work in fast food. Now, fast food is not a career, and it might be for some people. But the thing that you learn, in my opinion, of a fast food place is how to deal with other employees and other people.
Right.
It's how do you handle situations.
Yeah.
And if you can master that, then everything is a step forward.
Right.
I tell all my employees, I'm quite okay you taking a step sideways, okay? Don't ever take a step backwards.
Yeah.
So, and sometimes like checkers, you have to make 2 or 3 moves sideways to be able to see a clear path and move forward much faster.
Yeah.
So that's a game. So I moved back, had the great opportunity to be the groundskeeper for San Angelo Colts baseball.
Okay.
I actually did all of the fence work, laid the sod, managed it. Harlan Bruhal was a great guy. So that's where, and I did, because I had multiple lawns, and I prayed to the Lord one day. I'm like, hey, can you just give me one?
Yeah.
And he did.
Okay. What was your first lawn? Do you remember it?
I do. This is a lady that was on Glenna.
Okay.
And I didn't have, this is years and years ago, I didn't even have enough equipment. I borrowed the equipment from family members and stuff.
Okay.
And just started mowing.
Yeah.
And in the mowing industry, or the landscape industry, is a great business to be in. Number one, in my opinion, of why it's such a great business is because you have satisfaction of a job well done. Mm-hmm.
You get to see
you
it.
look at something that is in disarray, and then you go and clean it up and you fix it, and it makes it look nice, and it makes the customer happy, and it makes you happy because you did it. Mm-hmm. So you get that instant gratification of, wow, that I did that.
Right.
And then you come back a week later and somebody messed it up, and now you fix it again. And
you go again.
Yeah. That's my OCD that goes into it.
Right. Yeah. So, well, that's also a good business because it's reoccurring.
Absolutely. And that's what you're looking for, is something that is reoccurring, that, to generate more money. But it is also, as a farm boy, being outside. I'm not the kind of guy that can sit at a desk 8 hours a day. I got to get up. I got to move around. I even tell my guys as well that does most of the desk work and stuff, I says, go get on the forklift and go move pallets and scoot that stuff over and straighten and organize. Because sometimes that clears your head. Yeah. And to go back to that task that you were working on, and you have a clear vision of going and finish it. Yeah. So it helps.
No, that makes sense.
So with that being said, with the Colts, I knew that in 2002 that they were, that was the big year that we had, that they were going to cut my budget. So my brain's going like, what's going to go on? Because everybody would come up to me and go, oh, the field looks great, it's striped, and it's all great, it's all good. Well, if you cut my budget, I'm not going to be able to have the money for the fertilizer or the water or the equipment. Right. And it's going to look bad. Yeah. And so what are people going to do? They're going to blame me. Right. Right? And I can say, well, it's my budget. And they're going, oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
You just didn't show up.
Right. You got lazy.
You got lazy.
Yeah.
You didn't want to do it. So knowing that, I had the opportunity, because with being with the Colts, I would buy all my fertilizer and stuff from Bes-Tex.
Okay.
That's just where I bought it.
Yeah.
And so the gentleman that owned it at the time, Greg Huling, it was kind of a funny story. He just came in and said that I needed that business more than him.
Okay. And this is around the same time as the Colts?
This is the Colts, yeah. So this is, and he would ask me questions about lawns and stuff like that, and I'd give him the answer, and I'm just thinking, what's going on?
Yeah.
You know? So we'll kind of back up just a tad bit. 1999, I got married, and I have 2 kids, Grayson, who is 21, and Weston, who is 19. I got an 03 model and an 01 model. Okay.
Okay.
So.
Model what?
Kids.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm a 67 model.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So by looking at that, in 02, knowing that I was not going to be able to continue where I was headed, kid on the ground.
Right.
Kid in the oven.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? How am I going to support them?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and as I explained, everything leads to something else, and you just keep going. You know how to make God laugh, right?
Tell him your plan.
Tell him your plan.
Right.
That's right. So I thought that I had a plan. I thought I knew what I wanted to do, and then Greg came in and said I needed to buy Bes-Tex, that I needed it more than he did. And I just kind of looked at him and like, I don't have the money.
Right.
I can't do that. That's not feasible.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to do that? But knowing the history of it, knowing that it was, and one of the hard things is when I got married, I asked my father for a piece of gold from the Sim side.
Okay.
And I asked Linda a piece of gold from the Eaton side. And my dad handed me Roy Sims's ring. And I put it on in 1999.
Okay. Wow.
So you're thinking, okay.
Yeah.
And then things started happening.
That lineage.
That is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You kind of stepped into that.
You did.
Yeah.
Ended up in 03 buying Bes-Tex. Okay. Basically with a handshake. And I put $150 in the cash drawer.
Okay.
So had to rearrange everything. Had to understand what a business is.
Yep.
You know, we talked about at the beginning, being dumb is a blessing and a curse.
Yes.
I didn't know what I was getting into.
Right.
I didn't have a clue.
Yeah.
I can tell you that the first 7 days, the phone never rang and a customer never walked in the door.
That's terrifying.
It is very terrifying,
Yeah.
especially with young kids going, everybody's depending on me to do it. So you threw me in the middle of the ocean and sink or swim.
Yeah.
And I swam.
Okay.
And I just kept swimming and kept swimming and kept swimming.
That's good.
So,
kept your head above water.
So this year is 2023. Therefore, I've been in business for 20 years.
Yeah.
I have a 19-year-old, a 20-year-old business, and a 21-year-old. So I treat the company like my kids.
Yeah.
You know, knowing that if you're in business 5 years, you really can't leave it alone.
Right.
You've got to make sure that you're at least around there, or have a babysitter, or have somebody to watch it. You know, and what that business can do, you just kind of I treat it like a kid.
Right.
Now that it's 21 or 20, it's like, hey, they're kind of independent. They can be on their own. I can take a step back. I can breathe.
Wow.
And the beauty of being able to breathe in a business is what I see because I study it all the time, is that you get busy on a day-to-day basis doing the business. And my father gives me lots of quotes, and I've had quotes my entire life, and they're small parts of motivation.
Okay.
You know, reap what you sow.
Yes.
Okay, fail to prepare, prepare to fail.
Yeah.
You know, all of those things that you say to yourself all the time. And one of the quotes he'd given me years ago, and he says that I am working too hard to stop and get rich.
Yeah.
And that kind of hits you sometimes. At that age, you don't understand it.
Right.
But what happens is you lose the dream. You lose the dream and the desire to do it because every day you're just, as an entrepreneur, we're firefighters. That's really what we do. We put out fires. You know, and like, what are you doing today? I don't know. Don't know yet.
Yes.
You know, well, how do you not know? Well, because what I want to do is probably not what's going to happen because we're going to have a crisis over here. We have a crisis over there. So so
that
buying,
is well said.
So buying the business today gives me some leeway to be able to dream and to say, okay, here's where we're at. Where can we go? And yes, the business that Roy started in 57 is not the same business that I bought in 03.
Right.
The business today in 2023 is not the same business I bought there. Knowing that in 10 years from now, we're not going to have the same business either.
Right.
You have to change. You have to adapt.
Okay.
You know, and there's so many things that happen on a day-to-day basis to adapt.
So where do you see your company growing or changing? What's kind of some of the ideas you have?
So when I bought the company, we strictly was a retailer of herbicide, insecticide, and fertilizer. Okay. Things that I have added since then is more landscape supplies. Okay. In 2005, I picked up outdoor power equipment. So when I talk about the company and people ask me what I do, I says, well, I have 3 twigs. Okay, of the business, not true branches. They're just twigs. So we have the chemical division, we have the landscape supply division, and now we have the power equipment division.
Okay.
So, and I'm a seasonal business, and that's also a battle in itself. I sell lawnmowers in the middle of the desert.
Right.
You know, and when you say that to people, they get a smile just like you did. It's like, you do what? I go,
I'm an amazing salesman.
Well,
you pat yourself on the back.
It's not sales. You know, here's my definition of sales. Okay, sales is convey of love. I love that cup so much.
Right.
If I can convince you to love that as much as I do, you want it. I don't have to sell it to you.
Right.
So, you know, and my passion to lawns and grass, I'm a grass guy, not a tree and shrub guy. So Ronnie Winkler that works for me is the tree and shrub guy. You know, not that I don't know, it's my passion is grass, you know. And I like it in the fact that you can teach it to do things and make it look nice. And people can walk out there barefooted and they enjoy that, you know, and they get a smile on their face. So that is something that you can do in the world today that brings peace and happy to someone in their own backyard. There's not very many things, in my opinion, that can go and do that.
That's awesome. I know that when my wife watches this podcast, she'll be like, okay, now you need to go up there and start talking to them and get our yard together.
Sure. So let's talk about how the business is and how that works. So we know this. I try to educate my staff that every person that walks in that door has a problem. Okay?
Mentally.
They're not.
No.
I'm just kidding. No, they don't have a mental problem.
I'm kidding.
We may have for doing what we're doing.
Right.
But no, every person that walks in that door has a problem.
Yeah.
Okay. And they have a problem, and our job is to solve it.
Right.
You know, in any business, I don't care what business you're in. You're in a plumbing business. Okay. Somebody walks in that door, they have a problem, and that is our job to fix the problem. Well, if it's a simple problem that you and I understand, that would be pretty easy. But in most cases, people don't understand the problem which they have.
Right.
You know, so here's a scenario of how it's done. Think about going to the grocery store and going and buy a pot roast, a potato, an onion, some flour, okay, and carrots, okay, in a pan. Now go to the cash register, okay, and while she's ringing it up, ask her the question, how do I make a pot roast? What do I set the oven on?
Right.
What do I cut up? How do I cut it up? Where do I put it in the pan?
Right.
You know, you go and ask them that question, what are they going to do?
They're like,
no, but that's our job. So yes, we have product, but our job is to teach you how to go and do that.
Right.
You know, the question is, why do you have that weed in your yard? Well, I don't know. Well, are you doing this, this, and this? You know. So our job is, number one, we have to ask the right questions to get the right answer to be able to lead them in the right direction.
Right.
You know.
No, that makes
and
sense.
sometimes it's difficult, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's very simple to be able to do that. And people make it more complicated.
Okay.
You know, so it's our job really to, I guess, dumb it down.
Yeah.
Okay. I talk active ingredients to customers because my job is with them is to move them up to where I'm at.
Right.
So
To teach them.
Same way with
understand.
fertilizer. You know, fertilizer, for example, we'll do a quick deal. Fertilizer is nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. Okay. Remember this: up, down, and out.
Okay.
Nitrogen is for growth on top.
Okay.
Phosphorus is for root development. Potassium is for hardiness.
Okay.
So if you come to me and you have a brand new yard, what kind of fertilizer you want? Something high in that middle number.
Okay.
Oh, I got it.
I got you.
Hardiness to recover from a fungus or from traffic. You need something higher in that bag number.
Okay.
Well, I just want it to grow.
Yeah.
Okay, then that's the first number.
Yeah.
So by me educating someone like that, now they know what they need.
Yeah.
Okay.
What
Yes,
if
I would love for them to always come to Bes-Tex
Right.
and buy that. But if, you know, and here's our business, we're open Monday through Friday because it is God family business in that order.
Yeah.
So my guys need to go time to play in their yard, go to church on Sunday.
Yeah.
So that's why we do what we do. We're not open on Saturday.
No, that's great.
So
what if someone just comes in and says, I have a bad yard?
yeah. So
Then it's like, where do you even start?
well, we start at the beginning, and usually the way that I like to do that is I want to look at a picture. Okay.
Okay.
So show me a picture, and the scenario is do not show me a picture of the headlight of the car.
Sure.
Show me a picture of the car, and I can zoom into the headlight.
Yeah.
Okay. But most people bring me a little picture, and it's all
Yeah.
blurry.
Here's
and so here's
bad
my little
patch.
weed.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm looking at the environment.
Yeah.
Because I know what grass looks like.
Right.
Been around it my entire life.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm looking at the environment. Where's the trees?
Right.
You know,
Where's
the
the
house?
shade and
You know,
water? Okay.
Is it a red brick house, and this is on the west side, and you can't get grass to grow in that area?
Oh, man.
Okay.
You just got super.
Well,
Yeah,
but
that's
so,
amazing.
Well, so what it is
Yeah.
that's the heat reflecting off of that your
Makes total
irrigation
sense.
system is not
Yeah.
working properly.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I just never would have thought of that
Yeah.
on my own. That's, yeah.
So, and also, you know, maybe by the driveway, you can't get grass to grow right next to the driveway. I'm like, okay, do you come home off of a hot street and you park your hot car there, and is that heat reflecting off of that, and your
Yeah.
irrigation system isn't right?
Yeah.
You know, so.
Well, how
So
do
we go through by looking at a picture, and then I
Yeah.
try to put them on a program. And a program is simple, okay? We mow, okay? Mowing your grass. And I get this eye roll back in their head when I say, we mow every day. There you go. See
Wow.
there?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, mowing stimulates growth,
Yeah.
okay? Proper height, sharp blade.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. We water once a week. We do not water our grass every single day,
Yeah.
okay? We want to water deeply, okay?
So for
Third-
a long time.
Okay, so there's every week. Okay, the last step is we want to feed it, fertilize it. It needs nutrients. Okay, so we feed it once a month.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the scenario of sod, because we sell sod as well. So a sod farm is going to mow about every 3 days. Okay, they don't mow every day. Okay, they can't afford it. Golf course does.
Yeah.
Okay, but they're going to mow every 3 days. They're going to water it every 3 to 4 days, depending on the way it is, and they're going to feed it every 10 days.
Okay.
So they're mowing at a height of 1 inch, and we're going to talk a hybrid grass, okay, hybrid Bermuda, in full sun. And you go and buy this, and you throw it down on this dead soil. You're going to mow it every 7 days, every Saturday. You're going to mow it about 2.5 inches. You're going to water it every day for the beginning because it's new grass. Well, you're going to continue doing that, okay? And you're never going to feed it. And then you
Right.
come to me in a year later going, why is my yard doesn't look like it did?
Yeah.
Well, because you didn't do
Right.
what it's been done to.
Yeah.
So that's where I go into mow every day, water every week, and feed every month.
Yeah.
Just stay on that simple process.
Okay.
And then that will eliminate. And then we can tweak it from there,
Right.
you know.
Is there an ideal type of grass for San Angelo, for our desert climate? Like, what's the best, or even other plants? Like, landscaping, that kind of thing? Are you?
So there's 5 varieties of grasses
Sure.
that we deal with in our part of the
Okay.
country. So we have shade-tolerant grasses like St. Augustine, zoysia, and fescue. We have full sun. Okay, all grasses can be done in full sun. Think
Okay.
about a sod farm. Okay, that's growing St. Augustine. Is there a shade tree out there?
Right.
No.
Okay.
Okay. So we've got to first identify where do we want this grass. Okay. Second thing that we need to identify is what is the use of that grass. Okay. Third thing that I try to do is what is your skill set in maintaining that grass. Okay. So here's the question that I qualify. Why do you mow your grass at your house? I want you to answer that question. Why do you mow your grass at your house?
It's too tall to walk through anymore. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
So here's answers in which I've got because
Right.
my wife told me to.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Do you think I'm going to educate that guy in making a really nice yard?
Right. No.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
So the answer that I'm looking for when I ask those questions is because I need a really nice place for my kids to go play barefoot.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah.
He's more of doing it.
Yeah.
Okay. And doing the process and going through it because he cares about it.
Right.
You know, so if that's the person, then absolutely I can help them.
Right.
Okay. So
Yeah.
there's not a one grass
Yeah.
that fits every scenario.
Okay.
We have to go through those things. Give me shade. Give me irrigation. You know, St. Augustine is a great grass. Okay. I joke about it all the time that it's a sheep looking for a place to die.
Okay.
You know, because we have fungus problems with it.
Really?
Okay.
Okay.
Think about this. This is about as far north as you go with St. Augustine.
Okay.
There's very little in Midland, Odessa. There's none in Lubbock. There's none in Amarillo.
Okay.
Okay. So St. Augustine needs 40 inches of water per year. Therefore, we're going to have to supplement half of it because
Okay.
our average is 20.
Yeah.
It's going to take a lot of nitrogen, okay, at least 6 to 7. It usually has a fungus issue. The problem that St. Augustine has is people mow it too short,
Yeah.
okay? It needs to be mowed higher, and they overwater it. I water it every day.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah.
Well, it's yellow. Well, do you think needs some oxygen?
Yeah.
You know, you're drowning it.
Gotcha.
So how long do I keep the water off? You'll know.
Yeah.
I promise you. Just turn the water off.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. So if it's not St. Augustine, it is.
so then you have like a full sun. You notice a lot of the new constructions are using a hybrid Bermuda.
Okay.
Hybrid is a great grass. It is. It's what we use on sports fields. It has great wear tolerance. It's got a great color to it. It does go dormant, so we're all dormant this time of the year. Doesn't mean we're dead. We're dormant. And remember my deal where we mow every day, we'll water every week, and feed every month. We do not feed dormant grass. So we're not feeding the grass today.
Okay.
Okay. We're not mowing the grass because it's not growing. So we're not mowing dormant grass. We're still watering it though. It is still a live plant, even though it doesn't have the color on top. So we are irrigating at least once a week.
Okay.
One of the best tools I've ever come across in landscape is a screwdriver.
Okay.
Yeah, because
How
we
so?
stick it in the ground. If that 6-inch screwdriver can go all the way into the ground, I have good 6-inch moisture.
Okay.
If it only goes 3 inches, what does that mean?
Right. It's
I'm
dry.
dry.
Yeah.
So
okay.
give it a drink.
Okay.
So you got to kind of know when that plant is thirsty.
No, that's great. Now I have some general
Ideas.
Yeah. And of course, if people need more specific stuff, then they'll just come to your store and,
Sure.
and y'all kind of.
And we get bouquets of weeds all the time. We get pictures.
Okay.
We do not make house calls at this time, but
Yeah.
maybe that's a future thing to go
Okay.
and do.
That's kind of, you might go. I guess you don't ever do the actual landscaping, or do you?
We're in the supply,
Right.
not the apply.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah. So we supply the landscapers. And one thing that most people really don't know that I'm hoping more marketing and advertising, we're open to the public. Mm-hmm. Just because we're, located in the warehouse district and we have a warehouse that you walk into, which doesn't look like a warehouse. We try to make it look like a retail store.
Yeah.
And we try to make it clean, nice and neat. So you're not intimidated by sending your wife in there to ask a question
Right.
and get the stuff. Because
Yeah.
in most cases, she's the one that runs the household. Okay. that we try to make it as friendly as possible and as knowledgeable as possible. So
Right.
ask us questions. That's really what we're there for.
Yeah.
And the difference between us being an independent and a box store. Okay, a box store packages your products in 5,000 square foot packaging. Mm-hmm. We package ours in 10,000 square foot packaging.
Okay.
So we're twice. Okay. But if you look at it, they're going, well, I can get this cheaper at Lowe's or Home Depot. Mm-hmm. I'm like, well, it's not the same.
Yeah.
Well, it says it's the same.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Bring me a bag. I'll show you my bag. I'm happy to be able to explain the difference of that, And it's not the cost of the unit, it's the cost per 1,000 square feet.
Right. Well, it kind of blew my mind recently. I realized that a lot of like grass seed bags is very little grass. Like
Correct.
It's normally a lot of filler and
Yes.
that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with that. It's like,
Well,
and that makes sense now that now I know there's another option, because honestly, I've only known Lowe's and Home Depot. Like that's the default thought to go, just because I go there for other stuff. But
and so the way my brain works is when you said grass seed, that tells me you've been looking at grass seed.
Right.
Okay. So why do you want to put grass seed? Is this a brand spanking new yard that you're putting in?
In my case, we had some construction on our backyard, and so we had machines and stuff, and everything just got destroyed. And
Cool.
we eventually need to kind of build all that back and grow it in. Right now, it's just weeds where there once was grass.
True.
So.
True. And the best weed preventer is a good thick canopy of grass.
Right. Yeah.
And a herbicide, which is to kill weeds, is really the third thing that you need to grab. Because we get people in all the time when they show me pictures. I got all these weeds. Can you kill them? Yes, we can kill them. Mm-hmm. Okay. But why do you have those weeds?
Right.
That's the question.
Yeah.
Okay. And here's what I can do to eliminate you to do that. Because yes, I can sell you this product. You can go home and apply it properly according to the label, and you can kill that weed.
Yeah.
Guess what? 6 weeks, 6 months from now, you're going to have that same weed again. And you're going to keep doing that. And you're going to keep doing that. What our goal is to tell you why, or to help you figure out why, make you understand, and do those proper things that you can still may have to use that herbicide to kill it, but then you don't have to keep doing that. And that's the difference as well from us and a box store. Is you walk into a box store and you're looking at the shelf and you're trying to find the weed in your yard to match the weed that's in the picture up there.
Yes, that's
and you're
exactly
like,
what I'm doing.
how do I do that?
Yeah.
And how do I mix this?
It's
and how do I
never the
apply
same
it?
weed.
It's never the same weed, because they don't take pictures of San Angelo, Texas weeds.
Right.
That's Chicago or somewhere where there are more people.
Yeah.
So, and the thing that you read, Google is a great tool, and Google can be a bad tool. People go and, I read this information and it said to do this and this and this.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, you can do that.
Yeah.
But this would be much better and cheaper.
Right.
So, one of the big benefits of being able to go and do that to customers is the power in which we have. And I say that in a nice way. Okay. Because people will literally walk in the door and throw their hands up and say, what now?
Yeah.
My yard's looking great. What do I do now? And the power that we have, that we could almost sell them anything to go and put on their yard.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Not with the conscious.
Right. Yeah.
So there's lots of people that we say, there's nothing. You just need time.
Okay.
You've done this, and you've done that. Leave it alone.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I want to buy something. Okay, buy a grill or
right. We got
buy a lawnmower or buy something, but you don't need anything else that's on there.
Yeah.
And that's also the difference between going to someone that's independent, that wants to live in the community and help the community.
Right.
I'm not building a weekend business. I'm building a lifelong business, and I want you that repeat over and over and over, but I can only earn that if I'm always telling you the truth.
Right.
And keeping you around.
Yes. Which I think is extremely valuable in small towns like San Angelo, because everyone talks. And so, no one here wants to be taken advantage of, or no one ever wants that. But here, if you do that to someone, or you don't follow through, or you don't do what you say is going to happen, like they're going to tell someone else.
Of course. Yeah. And one thing that we have to have nowadays, and we're going to go a little politics on it, we have to have a good filter. because we have data coming in from all directions,
Right.
all devices. Even our phones talk to us now, and we get all of that information. We're in the outdoor power equipment, and we have fuel filters, oil filters, air filters. That filters out. You can't really operate without a good filter. So people need to fix their filter and understand that everything that you hear and read and see are not true.
Right.
I'm a believer that I believe nothing I hear and only half of what I see.
Yeah.
I want to figure it out on my own.
Right. Yeah.
So trial and error.
Yeah. So would you say that's kind of been one of your main benefits to growing, is just kind of your reputation that you have in San Angelo? Or what do you do for marketing?
Well, I want it to be our reputation. I don't want it to be my reputation.
Okay.
As an entrepreneur, here's the two questions that you have to ask yourself. Okay. Number one question is, can my business operate without me? Okay. The second question you have to, and once you figure that one out, the second one is, can it grow without me? I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
To my business. And I hope others have figured that out that's in there. We're a knowledge-based business. Now, yes, I sell stuff. I sell fertilizer and herbicide and stuff like that. So the staff in which I have to have has to be very knowledgeable. Now, being a seasonal business as well, is that I can't afford those employees in January like it is right now. Our daily income, what we're doing in sales today is not paying my staff.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
Now, some numbers for you. We average on 240 days. That's how I base my year, okay? Because that's how many days we're open.
Okay.
We average 62 customers a day.
Okay.
On a day-to-day basis.
Okay.
To put that in perspective, April, which is my best month, is spring. People got cabin fever, want to get out, start taking care of their yards. April, we average 153 customers per day.
Okay.
So when you're having 153 customers a day, that is just like the grocery store, where we're having to not only get the product, but explain to them how to cook that roast, it takes time. So over the years, we have learned to ask the certain questions and moving in a certain direction.
Yeah.
You have to also understand that that's one aspect of those customers coming in. We still need to be ordering products to keep it on the shelf. We need to unload the trucks.
Right.
We need to price it. We need to do the accounting part of it. So it turns into a lot to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And I actually have 3 desks, and I have to have a different attitude at every desk.
Okay.
So I'm back at the power equipment. Okay, we're
Right.
ordering parts and we're ordering things and trying to take care of customers' problems. It's up there. You have the chemical sales, which is totally different. Okay, and then I have to take my cap completely off and go sit in the back and figure out, how do we manage all of this? Who do we hire?
Yeah.
How do we pay them? Who do we buy? Where's our vendors? It's a circle. It's a complete circle, because with our vendors and the supply issues that we've had, in a way, I'm blessed that 2022, we didn't have the rain.
Right.
Now, the reason why I'm blessed at that is because I had supply issues.
Right.
I would have loved to have 30 inches of rain.
Right.
But we didn't have it, and therefore the supply issues, because we couldn't get equipment.
Yeah.
The lawnmower manufacturer, Skag, had mowers. Kawasaki didn't have engines.
Oh, no.
Kawasaki didn't have an engine because they were missing, it's not particular, but they were missing a carburetor. It's like, I can't finish the engine without this one part.
Right.
And so therefore they can't finish that engine without, or that widget without that part. So it happens.
Yeah. And that's been so many industries since
so
COVID. It's just this hiccup effect that's going on. And
so currently right now, I'm probably sitting at my largest inventory I've ever had. And the reason why is because the drought's not going to last forever.
Right.
I've lived in Angelo my entire life. It's peaks and valleys. I want to make sure that I have the goods,
Yeah.
And what they say is you can't sell out of an empty wagon.
Yeah.
True?
Yeah.
Okay. What they don't tell you is it's pain in the butt to pull.
Yeah.
Especially a full one.
Yeah.
So you got to figure out how to go and do that.
Yeah, where to keep it all.
Where to store it, how to store it, how to buy it. You know, you got to be able to take care of your vendors as well as you take care of your customers.
Yeah.
Because we're in the middle. Mm-hmm. You know, that's our job. Our job is flow. No flow, no grow.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's an appropriate one for your business.
There you go. It is.
Yeah.
Well, it's also probably for anybody's business.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah.
You know, same as a real estate business.
Right.
I mean, if you have inventory to sell, okay, then you're not out getting new listings. So you focus either on selling it or you're focusing on getting it.
Yeah.
The good teams has a team that is getting listings. The other ones is getting rid of their listings.
Right.
So you got to get rid of that inventory.
Yes. No, that makes sense. Yeah.
And then with the price structure, you know, everything's price, it just went through the roof.
Yes.
And you were also, I was like, okay, do I buy steel now? Our edging, our pro steel, do I buy it now? Do I wait?
Right.
Well, I got customers asking for it.
Yeah.
Okay, to get free freight, I have to buy X.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if I don't get X, then I can't afford to sell it to the customer. He think I'm too much, so we buy it. And guess what happened? A month after I bought it, the price fell. So what do I do?
And then, yeah.
I basically give it away. I mean, I'm selling the stick of edging for my cost.
Yeah.
Because I can't go up.
Right.
And I'm hoping that I continue to move that so that I could go buy more.
Buy it low,
You know?
yeah.
And that's one of 18,000 SKUs that I have in my warehouse.
Right, yeah. 18,000.
18,000 SKUs.
Good night.
It's
Man.
a lot to keep up with. There's not another store that I'm aware of anywhere that you can go in and buy a gallon of Tordon 22K, which is a pickle pear herbicide. Okay. That is restricted. A 78-ounce Termidor, which is for termiticides. Mm-hmm. An A22 61410, which is air filter for an SRM 225. Okay.
Yep.
There's not a store that you can buy an ag product, a pest control product, and an outdoor power equipment product from one location.
Wow.
And if I can find someone in this world that can just repeat what I just said, and it knows what each one of those components are, I have a job for you.
Nice, nice. Well, if you're listening, there you go.
There you go.
No, that's amazing. So basically, you're trying to just take care of any need that someone has for their outdoor anything, really. I mean, their lawn, but
yeah. You know. So we also sell grills. So we carry a Green Mountain grill, which is a pellet grill.
Yeah.
Because you have that at your back porch.
Those are awesome.
You know. Yeah. And how I stumbled into that is I went to a trade show. I saw the grill. I wanted one. Okay. So I started selling them. You know, and it goes with what we do. So I have to think about. So what is future growth? You know? What goes with what we do? Mm-hmm. You know, the $1 million question is, what do I do in the winter? What do I do in December, January, and February?
Yeah.
You know, when it's in West Texas, I don't know.
Yeah.
Any ideas, please email me. Let me know.
Will do. No, that's it. That's the tough thing about those seasonal deals. But also, man, I have just a lot of respect for just when you have all that inventory, because our business isn't very inventory heavy. It's very digital.
Correct.
And so we don't really run out of a supply. Our supply is just time and equipment, you know, that kind of thing. But
yeah, well, you think about a doctor or a lawyer, you know, any of those guys, what they do, okay, they don't have inventory.
Right.
You know, I'm buying a $20 bag of fertilizer, okay, and I'm selling it for $22, you know, and if I, okay, or any one of my guys use the forklift and poke a hole at the bottom of that pallet, what happens to the profit out of that?
Right.
It's gone.
Yeah.
So you have to think about all the way from how you bought it. What if I didn't pay my vendor on time?
Yeah.
What would he do the next time I ordered something?
Right.
Would I be first in line? Would I get the cleanest product? Would I get the best price? So there's so many aspects of that.
Yeah.
You know, and then the customer comes, well, you're too high. Okay, but that bag covers 10,000 square feet. Therefore, that cost you like $2 per thousand.
Yeah.
Well, I can go buy that whole bag right there at Lowe's for half that. I go, it's half the size.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not half.
Yeah.
It's, you know,
it's got a lot of filler.
There's a lot of filler.
Yeah.
You're not getting, and so, you know, why do we apply products to our yard? Okay, because we want a nice yard. Okay, we don't apply it just because Somebody said to go and do that.
Yeah.
There's a tool, and it's just like a wrench or a screwdriver or anything like that. That's the way I look at chemical.
Yeah.
You know.
No, that's great. Man, so much good information.
Cool.
And yeah, I definitely learned a lot. If people have more questions and they want to find you, where would they go to do that?
So we're located at 4512 Adobe Drive. Okay. We've moved down from our old location. We're 500 yards away. Our phone number is area code 325-653-LUCKY 1300. Okay. 13 is my favorite number, so that's why we have 1300. You can email us at sales@bestex.com, or email me, Monte at Bes-Tex.com.
Nice. And if they want to get,
and it is
cool
BES.
like
it is BES-TEX.com.
Right. We'll zoom in on that.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on
Absolutely.
our show. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Good. Thank you for having me. I hope you learned something.
I definitely did.
Good.